All right, here's the deal. Everybody online wants to start some kind of like YouTube agency, some kind of short form editing business or whatever, right? And it's not a bad idea. It's actually a great idea because you can make money online. You can supplement your income at a normal job. You can get people to pay you to sharpen your skills so you can basically get paid to learn. The issue is basically everyone's doing it completely wrong and a lot of people suck at it. And the only reason I know this is because I've been doing this since 2016. And I can tell you that a lot of the people doing it are taking it too far in terms of the getting paid to learn, and they're not getting results. They're not making good videos. They're wasting their time when really their time would be better spent working at an established agency in New York or, you know, just working a normal job. So if this is something you want to do, this video is for you because I'm going to tell you the biggest regrets that I've had of things that I haven't done in my business in the last 2 years, so that if you go out and you do this, you know what to look out for, you know what mistakes to avoid, and hopefully it saves you some time. If you don't know me, for context, like I said, I've been doing this since 2016, and I've shot for major brands, major companies, major influencers. Our biggest project this last year was for a company that was valued at $1.25 billion. I've shot with NASCAR, Bryce Hall, Samsung. So yeah, that's the background for this and why I want to make this video. And although there are a lot of things I wish I would have done, there are some things that I've done right, and you can check out my other videos on this channel, especially my latest video, if you want to hear the things that you should do. And yeah, so let's get into it. So the first thing that I regret not doing is starting YouTube sooner. So obviously we're sitting here, this video is going on YouTube, but the reason I regret not starting YouTube sooner is because YouTube is literally the only social media platform in existence at the moment where when you post something and you spend time creating something like this video right here, your return is infinite. Okay, I built my business off of Twitter, and while Twitter is great, every time you post something, like a thread, a post, whatever, people see it for like 5 minutes and then it's gone forever. So the work that you're putting into it is essentially a waste of time. On YouTube, you put time into making a video and people will watch that video for literally years to come. If you go on some of the popular videos on YouTube on whatever topic it is, a lot of times the top ranked video is like 2, 3, 4 years old. And so I definitely regret not starting YouTube sooner. The good news is we're starting it now, but if you could only choose one social channel to start your business on, please, for the love of God, do and choose YouTube. I started my business on Twitter, and again, it worked. It was great at the time. I think I've made something like north of $250,000 on Twitter in the last like year and a half. That can be directly attributed to business from Twitter, like closing deals in DMs and booking calls and things like that. But and I actually just hit 7,000 followers on Twitter. But if I would have had 7,000 subscribers on YouTube, I guarantee you that number would have been double or triple what it is. So $500,000 to $1 million. So definitely starting YouTube sooner, and that is definitely what you need to focus on in terms of building social assets. The next regret is growing my LinkedIn or not growing my LinkedIn. So again, if you're going to choose one social channel, choose YouTube. But if you want to do two, do LinkedIn as the second one. The issue that a lot of you have with creating these videos and trying to sell them to people, again, whether it's short form, long form, YouTube, LinkedIn clips, like whatever it is, you are trying to sell to people that are fucking broke, okay? Stop selling to people that don't have money. A lot of the people that have money are on LinkedIn because they're professionals, they work at companies, they work at a lot of them B2B companies, which are startups, they have funding, they have actual budgets to give you their money to create a video. So stop selling to people that are broke and go to a platform like LinkedIn where people are actually going to have the money to pay you and they're actually serious, because you know what? If someone hits you up on LinkedIn to do a project, the odds are it's their literal job to hire you. It's not a luxury item. It's not something they want to do, oh, because short form clips look so cool and my brand is cool. Like that's not what you're going to get on LinkedIn. You're going to get serious professionals who can pay you the money to actually produce their videos. And again, that's a large, I did happen to find those people on Twitter, thank God. But that's the only way that I grew my business, was working with legitimate companies. I don't work with B2C. I don't work with like individual like YouTubers or influencers or anything like that. All the video work I've done has been with companies, and most of the time they have a budget to spend. So, you know, I don't touch a project anymore for basically under like $2-3 grand. That's the minimum spend. And that can go up to $10,000 or even $20,000. So YouTube, LinkedIn. All right, so we got the social media stuff out of the way. The next biggest regret I had, and this is really more of an entrepreneurial thing, is paying myself less for longer. So it's a very common mistake in this space we're in. If you're seeing this video, if you're on Twitter, whatever, that people are like, okay, I want to make $10,000 online, and then they make that money and they just spend all of it. And, you know, to be honest, that's what I did. When I first started my business, in the very beginning, I was able to actually pretty quickly hit $10,000 a month because I was introduced to people who needed the work and all of that stuff. And I was pretty good at first, you know, not spending it. And then what ended up happening is I hit 20, I hit like 50 or 10, then 12, then 15, then 20. And I ended up moving to an expensive apartment. I bought an expensive car, and there's nothing wrong with that stuff. And I don't regret those necessarily. But the reason it's an issue is because what you're really doing is creating a job for yourself, and you're putting the proverbial golden handcuffs on yourself. So now that you have this expensive car, this expensive apartment, you have these liabilities that are leveraging themselves against the income of your business. And what that means is you can't hire people because you don't have the money. You can't invest in your education because you don't have the money. And quite frankly, it's going to stress you out just as much as if you had a boss or something that's breathing down your neck, because the boss that's breathing down your neck is the bills that you have to pay and the money that you have to withdraw out of your operating account in your business. So if you're going to make a big purchase or live in a nice apartment or something, again, I would encourage you do that, but you need to do that. There's a very fine line the way you do it. I'm not Dave Ramsey. I don't have like a percentage for you off the top of my head. I'm not a financial advisor, but do some research on what that number should be for you paying yourself out of your business, and then don't overpay yourself, because you will dig yourself a hole. And again, the biggest reason this is an issue is not the actual material items or whatever that you're buying. The reason it's an issue is because now you're basically cutting off the cash circulation within your business for your business to grow. And that's the whole reason you got into this. The whole reason you got into this was to be free and to not have a boss and all of that stuff. So if you're going to be your own boss, don't be bossed around by your own bills. Okay, so next thing is not going into business with a partner. So I very quickly learned, as I met other entrepreneurs and got coaching and stuff like that, that having a business partner is basically the biggest asset that you can have in doing what you're doing. And the reason is this. The most simple way to put it is everyone leans towards, there's basically two sides of the spectrum in every entrepreneur, creative, whatever. You're going to lean towards a side. One side is called the integrator/operator, and the other side is called the visionary. And if you're a creative, I almost guarantee that you are much further onto this side of visionary than the integrator operator side. The way it works is the visionary is someone like Steve Jobs is a great example. So the visionary, what they do is they lead the direction of the company. They're coming up with new ideas. They're finding ways to improve the product. So again, with Steve Jobs, it's like, he was responsible a lot for the development of these new products like the iPhone, and he was the one that was inspiring the company and really pushing the boundaries of what they did. And then there's an operator and an integrator, and the job, they're on the same playing field, but the job of the operator and the integrator is to take Steve Jobs' idea of creating an iPhone and say, how do we actually manufacture this? How are we gonna market it to the consumers? What's like the distribution gonna be like, right? So with your video business, you can think of it as like, you're over here, you're concepting the videos you're gonna make, you're thinking about what kind of clients you wanna work with and why you wanna work with them and how you're gonna market to them and do the messaging. But you need an operator and an integrator to take those ideas and put them into your business so that you can actually make money. Because one cannot make money without the other. If you're just an integrator and an operator, you're gonna have terrible ideas and you're gonna be implementing the wrong things. You're gonna be wasting your time making spreadsheets, doing all this nitpicky stuff. But if you're a visionary without an operator, you're not gonna be attached to reality and the reality of how business works. And do you have enough money to execute this idea? Or how are you actually going to fulfill a service that you want to offer and things like that. So the issue with myself is that I'm more of a visionary, and I tried basically integrating the visionary part of my personality into operations by myself. And it's extremely hard. And I'm not saying it's not possible and some people can do it, but you're going to be limiting your potential when it comes to what you can do in business and how far you can go. And there's a reason that this idea is popularized and why a lot of businesses run off of it. So if you want to do an actual business, find a business partner. If you want to go solo, that's fine too. It's just don't expect to basically make a ton of money and have it be easy. It's going to be tough as hell. So that is one thing I very much regret. Next is not hiring fast enough and not trying in person. So again, if you want to be a solo operator, that's fine. I would still recommend hiring like a contractor or two out to help you with actual fulfillment so that you have more time to market to clients and do things like that. But the issue with hiring slow is that you're not going to grow as fast. So hiring is most commonly referred to as basically the hardest part of business. And it's true because you have to find the right person with the right skill set, with the right personality that you like, that works hard enough, that's dependable, that you can pay the right amount, that works the same hours as you. And then multiply that by 100 if you want to grow an actual business. And so that's one thing that held me back a lot, is not hiring fast enough. And I also, because I kind of started my business around the time that doing online business got incredibly popularized in, like, I would say the end of 2020, maybe the beginning of 2021, I basically completely threw out the window the idea of hiring anyone in person because I just didn't see a point to it. Looking back, there are very clear advantages to hiring in person, especially in a world where everyone is hiring remote. You can have better rapport with the person. You guys can work better together in person. There's just a better culture. There's more dependability. The issue that I had with my business hiring remote, and yet this reflects on me, right? Because I didn't really have the proper management experience, which again is where having a partner that's an integrator would come in handy. But I kept finding these talented people. We'd agree to terms. We would both be excited to work together, and they do a couple of projects, and then they would go back to freelancing or not want to do any of the projects that we were doing together anymore and things like that. And it's very hard to grow a business that way when you're churning through your team, because there's a very high level of trust that you have to build with your internal team in order to scale your company. So my recommendation to you, again, if you don't want to be solo, is to really study earlier on how to hire and manage people and find talent and retain talent. Alex Hormozi has a lot of good videos on this. Actually, Layla, which is obviously his wife and business partner, she's the one that does the hiring and all the HR stuff. So go watch some of her videos. But having a team is really important. And I also, for a long time, wanted to be like, it was very ego driven, like the lone wolf or whatever, right? That's all bullshit. It's lonely, it's way more difficult, and it's just selfish. And you're gonna make more money if you team up with people and you have a team around you. It just makes it so much more fun. So I'm excited for that next chapter to get better at hiring. But yeah, definitely that would be a big recommendation as well. And then the next is establishing agency and / vendor relationships. So if you are providing video or and this doesn't just apply to video creators. This applies to anyone in the creative marketplace, designers, like people who do brand marketing, like anything. You'll have a faster go-to-market time. What I mean by that is offering the service that you're offering and finding people to buy it from you. So that's basically what go-to-market is. You'll find a better fit faster if you directly reach out to agencies and either offer white labeling or just directly offering your service, offering help. The advantage to agencies is that they don't have to commit to you as a full-time hire, but they still get the advantage of outsourcing some of the labor, because at the end of the day, they want to make money too, right? So if you're just starting out, I would just message a ton of agencies. Everyone is preaching going direct to brands and pitching brands and cold DMing brands and stuff. I want to be honest with you at this point with how things are going with just cold outreach, and like even my Twitter DMs, for example, are just like a war zone. I would recommend going to agencies because they're going to be much more responsive as your first potential customers directly than a brand would. And you'll learn a lot working with them too. You'll get to see how they work. You'll get to see their systems. You'll get to see the kind of clients they work with, how much they're willing to pay you, and then you can figure out how much that client is paying them. And so I wish that earlier on, I would have basically created a network of agencies for myself to work with, because my go-to-market speed would have been much faster. Okay, I know this is a long video. We got 2 left. My next regret is, and this is a big one. This is a really big one, is selling a recurring service versus a one-time product, service, package, whatever you want to call it. So I was selling one-off video, and I still am, but I was selling one-off videos and video packages, and it's fine in the beginning and you can make money and learn about that, but when you sell one time, you run into the issue, and again, Hormozi is a great resource to watch some videos on this. I won't go too in depth into it, but you run into this issue where, let's say you close 2 deals this month, right? And you fill those 2 deals. Now you have to go close another 2, and for those next 2 you close, your business is not growing at all. Whereas if you sold a recurring service and you close 2 deals this month, and then you close 2 deals the next month, congrats, you now have 4 clients at the end of the second month instead of 0. And so if you drag that over a long enough time horizon, for me, like you can call it 24 months because I've been doing this business for 2 years, I theoretically could have, like, I don't even know what the math is, but I could be making a lot more money than I'm making now. And so that's the first thing, is the trajectory of growth of your business. The second thing is working with clients on a consistent basis is so much more fun than finding a new client, working with them, and then being done, because you can learn what they like, so the service and the fulfillment of the service becomes easier. You can basically become friends with them if they're cool. Like, you guys can learn about each other personally and what's going on, and they just become more predictable. You have a better chance of basically providing a service to their satisfaction. There's so many reasons to sell a recurring service versus a one-time product or package. So if you can figure out how to make something recurring instead of one time, that is going to really be a ticket to your success. And the best way to think about recurring versus one time, from my perspective in the creative field or really in any example, is if somebody needs something where they're testing things or they need to consistently post something. Again, the short form is a classic example. Like, that's not a one-time thing, because in order for short form to work, you need to post a clip, every day. That's going to be your best bet. The kinds of videos we were making were basically launch videos, and a brand only launches one time, right? And there's other things we can sell them on the back end, but selling a recurring service might be the ticket to saving your business entirely. And then related to the service, the last thing for this video is choosing a service where you actually can get tangible results, KPIs, numbers, whatever, to use in your marketing, okay? Let me paint a picture for you. You have a brand and I'm gonna make you a video. And my friend also makes videos and he pitches you in addition to me. My friend has results. Let's say your revenue increased by $10,000 because of the video, and I don't have results. How do you think that's gonna go? Who would you buy from? Would you buy from my friend who has results and can directly say that their video increased your revenue by $10,000? Or would you buy from me, even if the videos are the exact same? Even if my video is better, you would probably buy from the guy who tells you that the video he makes is going to increase your revenue. Because again, as a business, going back to basically my first point in selling to businesses, that's what makes sense. At the end of the day, content, video, marketing, anything a business buys is an investment. Why would a business buy a luxury item? It doesn't make sense. Luxury items are for consumers, to make them feel good, to feed their ego. Businesses and brands, they don't, it's not a person, they don't have an ego. So any money that they are spending, especially when you start working with legitimate companies who have a CFO or whatever, and decision makers, they're gonna be asking you, okay, well, why would I buy this video? What kind of results does it get? And things like that, right? And if you are doing cold outreach like DMs or emails or whatever, you're gonna have to, it's gonna make it so much easier if on the second, third message you come in with a case study saying our video increased this company's revenue by $10,000 or whatever it is, right? So keep that in mind when you're pitching, and keep that in mind in positioning your service to actually get results for a client. Going back to the short form thing, what a case study would look like is basically growing someone's Instagram from X followers to X followers, or getting this amount of views or whatever, right? So yeah, I hope this video helped. Those are the things that I wish I would have done better when I started my business, but you live and you learn. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe for more like this. Maybe I'll start doing the longer form videos like this with no editing and all that kind of good stuff. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. Hope to see you in the next one.